Okay, so deep bow. Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Bronte, you're muted.
Oh, hello, everyone, and welcome. Glad to see everyone here this morning. In the midst of difficulty, that's when the great wisdom and the great peace and the great freedom arises. So we shouldn't feel shy or discouraged about our difficulty, but actually we have the invitation and the reminder to practice mindfulness and detachment, and that is a gift. So if we are aware of a difficulty, then if things aren't going our way, then we are exactly where we're supposed to be. We have the opportunity to be awake and aware and to take care and to work with this situation. So that's what we're here to do, to work with this situation, to take care and to be mindful and to practice non-reactivity and to practice to fully embrace whatever it is that is alive in us and alive in the present moment with a non-discriminatory mind. So a mind that is not based in picking and choosing. Also a mind that is not based or kind of referential to the past and future, but a mind that is grounded in the present moment, in the here and now. And from that position and that perspective, uh, we work to embrace what is happening in the present moment. And this is a wonderful gift, our ability to do this, that the causes and conditions have come together for us to be here in community. And to practice like this is very rare. You know, there's a lot of people who are going through a deep, deep suffering, deep depression, deep anxiety, deep fear, deep regret, guilt, shame, confusion, and they didn't know anything or anyone. So there's a lot to be grateful for here, and we should do our best to take advantage of it um, as fully as we can. Okay. So we're going to read some more from Master Hsu Yun, Master Empty Cloud today, but I thought it would be nice if we start out with a little bit of meditation. We we get to enjoy our awareness itself together for a little bit before we get into this reading. I find that there's a meditation method, there's an approach to the practice that's not really based in doing anything in particular, but it's in giving ourselves this allowance, this space to not do anything. We're not avoiding anything, we're not going in one particular direction. We're also not trying to get something, try to get involved with something. None of this is taking place right now. Whatever we are to get involved with, we step back from. So aware but uninvolved. and really vividly, truly present in the here and now. So we are, it's almost as if you have arrived on Mars or you have arrived on another planet. You don't particularly know where you are or what's going on, but you are there, and it's quite an interesting situation to be in. So too, we are here in this present moment, and we have never been here before. This is a new moment. This is a fresh moment. And with a sense of openness to this present moment experience, we can allow our mind to bring us to, in a sense, pull us to the mind ground. So we can allow our breathing, our process of breathing, to pull us to the mind ground. And we allow for awareness itself to take place. We allow for noticing itself to take place. That is especially the noticing of a difficulty or a confusion, or the noticing of not noticing, the noticing of not understanding, not grasping. So the meditation is not that we are doing something in particular. We're not really doing something. We are allowing to do only or to not do only. The experience itself, the awareness itself, the feeling itself, the unskillfulness itself, the skillfulness itself, the breathing itself, the distraction itself. It's very much an allowing rather than a doing. For doing, you are very limited in what you can do. But for allowing, there's no limit to what you can allow, and we're kind of exercising that here. We can allow the uncomfortable feeling in the body. We can allow the state of our lives and the state of our mind fully. Breathing and allowing. This is to go beyond being a beginner or being experienced. This is to go beyond having a good meditation, really getting it, and wow, bad meditation, you couldn't get it. You have to go. You have to go and get into the fridge or something. Don't try to focus. Don't focus. the awareness itself is enough, and even to be uninvolved with that. It's a curious state. It's an explorative state, as if your body was constantly changing, as if your mind was constantly changing. There wouldn't be solid ground. There wouldn't be a place to latch onto. Allow the breathing to be the breathing itself. Allow the distraction to be the distraction itself. Allow the movement to be the movement itself. Show up, arrive, become aware of present moment breathing, and do nothing. Be nothing. Let the body relax. Let the mind relax. The more that we can allow without any trying to control, uninvolved, just breathing, just aware. every moment, every feeling of to get involved, to change something, that something is not quite right or that it is right, turning to just breathing, just being aware, uninvolved, even with the uninvolved itself. From this place of just breathing, just being aware, uninvolved with our judgment or reactivity, even though it may be there, can bring a Wato or a curious question to mind. We can bring up from the mind ground question of what is this? Turn the mind around. A real questioning, a real curiosity. What is this? Allow your mind to turn around and look into mind itself at this present moment, to look into the awareness itself. And although other thoughts or ideas may come to mind, we can raise the Huato, we can raise this curious question of what is this? Also be, what was my original face before my parents were born? allow the spaciousness and the looking itself, curiosity itself to take prominence. But also feel open to ask the question deeply and wholeheartedly. What was my original face before my parents were born? So these particular ways of thinking come up, this like and dislike, and this going here or going there mindset comes up. And at that time, we can raise the huatou, we can raise this curious question of what is this? Not to settle for a mouse mind looking for cheese all the time. This is not a place to find your cheese. This is a place and a moment to investigate the mind itself, awareness itself, reality itself. What was my original face before my parents were born? Okay, please feel open to adjust your posture a little bit, to massage your face if you feel that would be nice. Certainly get a blanket if you need one, if it's cold. So we will continue our looking at these teachings from Zen Master Hsu Yun. is one of the preeminent Zen masters of the past 100 years, and he especially emphasized on this Huatou method, which is to raise this curious question and to invoke a sense of, we can say doubt, but we can also say a kind of authentic curiosity, an authentic, deep, and meaningful questioning into our mind itself or into true nature, rather than surface level preoccupations that we have in our lives, our mind. So, in meditation, in this practice, where does easiness lie for a beginner? So, for a beginner, for that easiness of practice, it only requires a believing, a long enduring, and a mindless mind. A believing mind is, firstly, belief that this mind of ours is fundamentally Buddha. Okay, we can also say this belief or this faith that the fundamental mind ground is awareness itself, rather than our neuroses or our conditions or our traumas, our sufferings, etc. That this belief that this mind of ours is fundamentally Buddha, fundamentally pure and clear, that this is the mind ground, not differing from all Buddhas and all living beings of the 3 times in the 10 directions of space. And secondly, belief that all dharmas expounded by Shakyamuni Buddha can enable us to put an end to birth and death and to attain Buddhahood. Okay, so this is the belief in the legitimacy of enlightened teachings, that this is not a kind of something that's put on to sell a product, but that the Buddha's teaching, the Buddha's Dharma, is real and true, and wasn't said for any other reason but to enlighten and to inform other people about the truth. So this is the belief, believing mind, to firstly believe that this mind of ours is fundamentally Buddha, fundamentally pure, that our reality body, our reality mind, is the mind of awareness itself, rather than our afflictions. Okay? There's a Thich Nhat Hanh song, the mind is a clear blue sky, right? Thoughts come, thoughts go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. So negative emotions, negative ideas, and situations arise, come and go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. We can believe this, we can have a faith in this, and this is where the easiness of practice can come in. And secondly, this belief that the dharmas, the enlightened teachings, can enable us to put an end to birth and death and to attain Buddhahood, so that the attainment of Buddhahood, of enlightenment, of freedom, the realization of it, the stepping into it, is possible, is accessible. A long, enduring mind consists in the choice of a method to be put into continuous practice in the present lifetime, in the next life, and in the life after next. The Chan training should be continued in this matter, such as the repetition of the Buddha's name should be continued in this manner, such as the holding of a mantra should be continued in this manner, and such as the study of sutras, which consists in putting into practice the teaching heard. that is, learning from the scriptures, should be continued in this manner. Okay, so this is a continuous practice of, for many of us, it can be mindfulness of breathing. Okay, so we are aware of our breathing moment by moment. We get distracted and we come home to our breathing. But it can also be to continuously recite a mantra. So, Budo, 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 all the time, every time. Response to anything, Budo, Budo, or Amitofo, Amitofo, or Namo Guanchu Yimpusa, Namo Guanchu Yimpusa. It could be cat. You could repeat cat, 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 but that may not give you as much support as saying Budo or Namo Guanchu Yimpusa, but it's all the same. Just like if you studied a Winnie the Pooh book continuously, nonstop, well, that is a choice of method to put into continuous practice. But it's probably going to be more supportive to look at the scriptures, the Buddha's teachings, rather than the Winnie the Pooh, whoever wrote that book. But regardless, the emphasis here is on this continuous practice, to do more and more, to be involved more and more continuously. Okay, this is why people become monks or nuns or join a spiritual community. Okay, or Ramakrishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You can chant it, anything. But this is why, this is why it's recommended to find a guru or a teacher, or I even would more so recommend to find a community, because this enables us to be consistent. And what we are consistent with is what we become skillful at. And when we are consistent with mindfulness, when we are consistent with our Zen practice, then we can become skillful to enlighten, to free, to dissolve afflictions and confusions. So a long, enduring mind consists in the choice of a method to be put into continuous practice in the present lifetime, in the next life, and in the life after next. This is also why we get so much benefit if we go to a meditation retreat. This is why people love this and get involved with this, because those are the conditions where continuous practice is very supported. Okay. But we bring this into our regular life. Okay. We practice in this way. The practice of any Dharma door to enlightenment must be based on sila. This is precept, command, prohibition, discipline, rule, morality. Okay? And if the training is undergone in this manner, there is no reason why it will not be successful. So we have to emphasize and prioritize, we must base our practice on sila. For the Buddhist monk, that is the 227 precept, 227 guideline. For the Buddhist people, that is the 5 precept. And really, the 227 are just outflows or branches from the original 5 precepts. Such as don't kill, don't steal, don't lie or speak harshly. Be very careful with sexual conduct. Don't take intoxicants. Don't take these substances. But actually, any successful opening of a Dharma door and making use of a Dharma door, a door to enlightenment, a door to freedom, must be based on sila, must be based on our precepts, our ethical living, our skillful living. Okay? That is prohibition, discipline, rule, morality. And if the training is undergone in this manner, there is no reason why it will not be successful. The old master Kuei Shan said, anybody practicing this Dharma without backsliding in 3 successive lives can surely expect to attain the Buddha stage. The old Master Yung Chia said, "If I utter deceitful words to cheat living beings, I shall be prepared to fall into the tongue-snatching hell for eons as numberless as atoms." So, main issue that we deal with is actually not that we have like there's something wrong with us, or that there is something wrong with the world or the situation that we're in, but actually we continue to backslide. We continue to fall back on our habit energies rather than our practice method. And so we're in kind of a stasis. There's this certain realm that we are stuck in because our habit, once we get to a point, we backslide. Okay, and then we get up again to a point, backslide, get up to a point again, and backslide. But the teacher says here, anybody practicing this Dharma, these teachings, through 3 successive lives, without backsliding in 3 successive lives, can surely expect to attain the Buddha stage. So I don't know about the 2 other lives, but at least in this life, we should do as much as we can to practice continuously and to not backslide. Okay? But our mindset, our usual mindset, is the gaining of pleasure and the avoiding of pain. And this is not going to facilitate or support our enlightenment. Okay? This is what animals are doing. Animals are certainly lovely and wonderful and enjoyable, but we're not going to them for insight into the fundamental mind ground of reality. Okay? And so we can appreciate them, we can appreciate our pain avoidance capacity, and we can appreciate our pleasure gaining capacity. But if we are relying on that, if that is the basis of our spiritual life, then this is always going to be we're always going to be restricted into our capacity to develop. Okay, we're always going to stay in the lower realms of attainment and understanding. So the old Master Yung Chia said, "If I utter deceitful words to cheat living beings, I shall be prepared to fall into the tongue-snatching hell for eons as numberless as atoms." So Master Hsu Yun, Master Empty Cloud, in this teaching here, is really giving and does give a lot of instruction and reminders about to cultivate a faith or a belief in what these teachers are saying. These enlightened teachers or these masters, they are not just putting on airs or trying to create a subscription plan for their Patreon. Okay, they are trying to enlighten people to see the truth and to wake up and to become a Buddha and to see their mind ground. Okay, to be free. That is why they are speaking, and they are speaking in such a way that is truthful to their own experience. They are not mincing words. Okay. So where does easiness lie for a beginner? And in some sense, we have to have easiness or we're not going to continue with it. Right? It's like Ajahn Brahm is always saying, you have to become to enjoy your body and to enjoy your object of mindfulness, or you are not going to be able to practice. Right? You have to enjoy it so that you can stay with it. So where does this easiness lie for a beginner? It's almost to say, where does the enjoyment lie for a beginner? The enjoyment lies in a beginner. For a beginner, it only requires a believing. So that is to believe that our fundamental mind ground, our true self, is awareness itself, or no self, or the Buddha. Okay. And also that the dharmas, the Buddhist teachings, are real and true and accessible and worthy to spend our time on and worthy to rely on. Okay. It's like if you are talking to someone and you know that they aren't telling you the truth, well, you're not that interested, are you? Because it's secondary, tertiary, it's not primary, it's not what you actually want to hear. So that believing mind that the dharmas and these Buddhist teachings, truth teachings, are true and real and what you should to rely on, makes it enjoyable, pulls you in, brings you in, invites you in. Now we've got a real situation, practical situation. So this enjoyment for a beginner lies in a believing mind, a long enduring mind. So that is to come back to the meditation method and to stay with it, whatever it is. Okay, a mantra, mindfulness of breathing, studying the sutras, whatever it is, coming back to release, to refresh, to restart, to just walk, walking and breathing, sitting and breathing. We've got to breathe anyway, so why not breathe in such a way that we go straight to enlightenment and to freedom and enjoy it, right? And then number 3, to where does that enjoyment lay for a beginner? The believing mind, long enduring mind, and a mindless mind. Okay, what is this mindless mind? By mindlessness is meant the laying down of everything. Okay, that is free from all attachments, which are likened to a burden which one should lay down. Okay, you've been going for a long journey with a big backpack, and maybe it's full of all the things that you need. All right, maybe it's just full of stones, large stones, and who knows why you are carrying them around, but you certainly are, right? You've been on this journey for a long time, all right? You're not, even if you were only 3 months old, that's a long time to be on a journey, isn't it? It's not a short time. So many of us have been on a journey for decades. Okay, decades. We've been carrying this pack around with maybe things that are very essential. Also can just be a lot of heavy rocks. Who knows what's in there, right? At any point, the enjoyment is for a beginner to put down that burden, to take off the pack. Okay, if you're not able to do this, well, it's going to be difficult, and you're going to be kind of disrupted and confused as a journeyer, because someone comes along and says, hey, you've been on this journey for 30, 40, 50 years, take off your pack with these attachments and these stories and these likes and dislikes and worries and preferences, and you say, no, I'm going to keep going. I've got to, I'm going here. Well, you've been on the journey for 40, 50, 60 years. You haven't gotten anywhere yet. So why don't you just put the pack down? Okay. So this is the mindless mind, the mind of mindlessness. This is to put down all of these attachments, these fixations, these stories. Okay. By mindlessness is meant the laying down of everything, so that the practitioner, will become like a dead person who, while following others in their normal activities, does not give rise to the least differentiation and attachment, and live as a mindless religious person. The laying down of everything. Become like a dead person. This is as good as it gets. So when you join for a meditation, when you show up to your practice, when you show up to your life in the right way, in the way that you really want to show up to it, be like a dead person. Allow, give yourself permission, let out the rope to be like a dead person, to take off the backpack, to take off the burden. All right? Most of your life, you're going to be a dead person. Okay? So you might as well get used to it. So by mindlessness is meant the laying down of everything, so that the practitioner will become like a dead person who, and this is bringing the practice into daily life. Really, there's no separation between our daily life and our meditation practice. It's just that certain causes and conditions come together and we have an experience that relates to that. Okay? So by mindlessness is meant the laying down of everything, all attachments, so that the practicer will become like a dead person who, while following others in their normal activities, so normally involved with life and our work and our everything, does not give rise to the least differentiation, focusing on the differences. Okay. And attachment, grasping onto, and lives as a mindless religious person. And when we do grasp, when we do get involved, that is to step back, to become like a dead person, to take refuge in our true mind, our original mind, the wave, remembering that it is the water, to trust in the Buddha's teachings, to come back to our meditation method, to remember our restraint, our morality. After a beginner has acquired these three kinds of mind, if they undergo the Chan training, the Zen training, and look into, for instance, the Huato, who is the repeater of the Buddha's name? Or, for instance, the Huato, what is this? Or what is my true self? But, for example, if they were to look into the Huato, who is the repeater of the Buddha's name? And this is a very successful school of Buddhism and practice methodology. That is the Pure Land School. And in the Pure Land School, they are primarily focusing on reciting the Buddha's name, or the Amitabha Buddha, the Pure Land Buddha's name. So they are reciting each and every moment Amitofo, Amitofo, their mind all the time, Amitofo, 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 Amitofo. But we could also say Budo, 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 Budo. Okay, this is very skillful meditation method. It's very good for the modern people we are relying on our thinking all the time, right? So we need to halt that thinking, and we can halt that thinking through a meditation method like that. Okay, and I'm happy to help support people here to get involved in that kind of meditation method. But actually, the particular method doesn't matter. It's it's just like the flavor of ice cream doesn't matter. The ice cream shop doesn't even matter. You either show up or you don't. And if you show up, well, sure, I can help you to get some ice cream. I can even share with you a recommended flavor. But it's you who have to eat the ice cream. It's you who have to show up. And it's you who have to be interested in showing up to the ice cream shop. So don't fixate. We love to fixate on a particular method or a particular text or a particular story, a particular place, particular time. Oh, what's that book? What's that text? It's nothing. It's your mind. Okay, it's your delusion. It's your attachment. That's what the text is. It's your confusion. Amitofo, 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 Amitofo. Coming back to the breathing. Right? Refresh and restart. and not a particular method. It's not a particular person. It's not a particular place. It's not a particular time. So the easiness is there for a beginner in believing in the fundamental mind ground is not their discrimination, not what they like or dislike or their true, their self story, but it's in awareness itself. It's the Buddha inside themselves. That is their mind ground. That is their true nature. There's a lot of enjoyment in believing in that and relying on that. But you can't really believe in it until you know about it. So what is the present moment? Well, someone will say, get out of here, you crazy person, you ridiculous person, right? So it's not just this blind faith, but it's a faith through our actions that we have an experience of, this opening, this questioning, this direct experience of impermanence. Okay, your big, bad, true story shows up and expresses itself in an uncomprehendable, direct way, and then it vanishes. It's not there anymore. So that's not you. That's not your true self. And yet it was just the visceral emanation of that you and that story and that grasping. And yet it comes up and it goes away. No big deal. See you later. So that's not you. That's not your true self. And the body is also like that. Right? So it's an interesting situation. And if we can be a believer, and if we can practice accordingly, then we're going to be recognizing this in a more and more meaningful way that is not as limited as we imagine that it is. Okay. Open up some space for any questions or sharing. And we had a couple of questions come in through the YouTube channel, so I'd like to take a look at them. Elisha says, is that the door I see when I close my eyes sometimes? I hope that isn't a silly question. If the door is the door to your mind ground, your awareness nature, then yes, that door. Mama Bear on YouTube says, could it be influence of the people that are surrounding you that make you backslide? No. These are just a cause and conditions. They're not different from any other cause and conditions. Okay, so wherever you go, that's where you'll be. So be where you are now. And don't cling to your conceptual understanding. If you go for a walk, you'll be walking somewhere. Okay, if you leave that environment, you'll be leaving that environment. If you choose to make a mess of yourself, that's the situation that you'll be in. Okay, so don't cling to the people who are around you or to the environment, but try to detach from the environment. Okay, try to abandon that. If you want to go to Spain, go for it. If you want to walk somewhere, go for it. And it's up to you. It's more of a personal situation. And we should support each other. as community members to, help each other in practical cases and practical situations. But in terms of the mind ground, in terms of your real practice, it is not conditional. Don't make it conditional, right? It is to believe that your fundamental nature, your true self, is not other than the Buddha. Do you think the Buddha is going to be, uh, you know, worried about this person or that person around him and say, well, I can't practice or I can't be the Buddha because this person is around me? No. But the Buddha is also quite flexible. He's a wandering monk to wander around. Okay, if this tree stinks, maybe go to another one. But stink can be good. Sometimes things smelling stinky is very good. So it's not about the people who are around you. It's not about the environment. But let's try to support one another and be practical, okay? And be flexible, be open about change and different ways of doing things. Okay, Randall says, what about trauma? Take care of it, love it, be gentle with it, be soft with it, be patient with it, and get as much support as you can. When we talk about the actions that we take, try not to be a complete ignorant fool in the actions that you take. Okay, because this will have repercussions. And if you are ready to take a great action, the ultimate action, well, why do you only need to make that action? Step back and be ready to let go and go in a different direction. Okay? If one action is the ultimate action, then there are many actions possible. Okay? If one avenue is this ultimate end all, be all thing that you can do or need to do, well, then there's all these other kinds of things that you can do. If you are ready to step into the ultimate, then you can step anywhere. So don't be a fool that because you're ready to step into the ultimate, you have to step in a one particular direction. You have to do one particular thing. Go crazy. Don't cheat yourself because you will have to deal with the repercussions of that. You'll have to deal with the effects from that. Even if you think you won't, you will. So be open, be flexible, and, be adventurous. Really. This life is an adventure, and people get so trapped inside of this box of themselves, and they say, well, look, there's a knife. Open up the box. Okay, what are you thinking? Open up the box, go out. These mindsets that we can fall into, it's so sad that people have to go through this, but you're stuck in this tight black box of suffering and worry and miserableness and attachment, and you find a knife in there. Cut open the box. Okay, and we're here to support one another in doing that. There's a lot of ways to do that. Even if you have financial difficulties or something, there's a lot of ways to do it. But are you willing to cut open the box? Not just to, do kind of unspeakable things. There's very confused things. cut open the box. Should we stay alive or should we not stay alive? Isn't an important question. Do something fun, adventure, go out, explore, change. We should live our life in such a way where it is meaningful and it is enjoyable and it is explorative. And we aren't overwhelmed by fear. And if there's help in a particular direction, if we feel that there's a light over there, go towards it, reach out to it. Okay? But ultimately, that light is inside of yourself. Okay? But if you're locked in a box and it's dark and it's colorless and it's suffering and it's trapped and it's misery, and you find a knife in there, you find this sharp, strong tool that you can really do something with in there, cut open the box and go out of it. Go from there. That should be the first step, not turning the knife on ourselves. First, cut open the box. You stay in the same way of living, you stay doing the same things, you stay stuck in this same way of seeing yourself and seeing the environment, and I'm this kind of person who has to do this kind of thing, and I have to live here, and I have to do that. No, you do not. You do not have to do that. You do not have to live that way. You are not even that person. But you can't just force yourself to see that or understand that, but you can change. You know, it's like, do you have 2 legs and 2 arms? A lot of people are stuck. A lot of people, they couldn't even communicate. Okay, a lot of people, they couldn't even walk. They're old already. They're in a wheelchair, and they are suffer, and they are trapped, and they are worried, and they are alone. So use your legs. Right? How am I going to get out of this situation? Use your legs. Run. That's probably going to help a lot. Okay? And have some fun while you do it. Yeah, Morgan. Well, you're cheating yourself. It just means that you're locking yourself in to a way of seeing things or a way of doing things that is not necessary. You know, I need to do this. I need to be here. I need to go there. All right? And, you know, when you go for a walk, there's no guarantee that you're going to come back. And yet there you are, going for a walk. There's no guarantee that we are going to experience life in the way that we've been experiencing it up to now. And that's beyond pleasure or pain. That's beyond things going the way we want them to go or things not going the way we don't want them to go. It's beyond that. You're cheating yourself if you're not enjoying life, if you're not relaxing, if you're not flexible, if you're not open. If you take it so seriously, I need to go there, I need to stay here. No, you don't. You don't need to do anything like that. But you can. There's all kinds of trouble we can get ourselves into. So be ready to get yourself into some trouble, but not just in the same way that you've been doing it for your whole life. What's the fun in that? That's not fun. is boring, miserable. It's a movie that you've watched, over and over again, and you say, hey, it's time for me to watch a movie, and then you put that one in again. Why would you want to watch that again? Okay, get into some new trouble, make some new mistakes. And in the Buddhist world, as a practitioner, and I don't know if everyone here calls themselves a Buddhist, but there are opportunities and there are avenues that are, sure, you're going to get into a lot of trouble, but it's not the kind of trouble you're used to. Okay, it can be the trouble of doing good deeds. It can be the trouble of supported renunciation. There's a lot of opportunities out there. But it's to recognize that we are stuck in this box, tight, dark. There's no light in there. We're trapped. We're stuffed. We suffer. We anxious, depression, and then we find a knife. Okay, it's difficult to say. I'd like to not have to say it like that, but that's the way that we, as a lot of people, are experiencing it. Okay, especially modern Western people, we have a bit of a sadistic, masochistic predisposition. Okay, so you're in that box and you find that knife. Well, what are you going to do with it? It should go without saying, right? Cut open the box. Open up the box. Seek therapy. Call a suicide hotline. Whatever it is, not you personally, Morgan, but for anyone, so many people are going through this deep, deep suffering and they don't have the support. So it's not that life is going to start going your way. You're going to be on a cruise ship, that your suffering is also going to be there. But it's that you open up this self-fixation. You open up this trap that is not really necessary. So you can believe that the fundamental truth about you is awareness itself and freedom itself and uninvolvement itself and flexibility itself and inclusivity itself. Openness and freedom itself. You can believe that. You can have faith in that. And you can practice continuously to live your life in a meaningful way. Maybe it's mindfulness of breathing, maybe it's volunteering, doing good deeds, but involvement in a positive way, involvement in a way of letting go, giving away what you believe in, what you're stuck on, what you're attached to. Okay? Yesterday I have a sweet cat. It's like it's a mother again, and she's pregnant, and now here at this temple they've cleaned it up quite a bit, and so she's not able to come and stay in like the temple room. So she's kind of looking for her nest to burrow down to have these babies. So she's kind of trying to get involved with me. Okay, and get involved in my room. It is what it is. Okay? You let the cat in, all right, you can do that, and there's going to be difficulties. You let the cat out, and a mongoose goes and gets a hold of it and eats all the babies. That's life. Okay? You need to take care to be mindful and to detach, to abandon, to put down. Okay? I am not a cat. I am also not this body. I am also not this mind. Okay? What am I? What is this? Well, it's not to be trapped in, should I bring the cat inside or should I leave it outside? No. Okay, so try to free. Try to open. We can breathe mindfully. We can walk mindfully. We can sing mindfully. But it's to believe that this nature, your true nature, is not what you've experienced up to this point or what you will experience moving forward. That's not it. You have to have a faith in that. And to have a real faith in that, you have to have a sense of doubt about your preoccupations. You have to have a sense of doubt about being this particular person in this particular situation at this particular time, because that's not what's actually going on. Okay, that is insanity. That is the root of your insanity. That's why people go insane, because they are quite convinced and they are quite involved and quite attached to, I am this particular person at this particular place at this particular time. No, you aren't. And there's so much freedom to change and to reach out and to walk out, right? Walk out. Your life is falling apart. It's a good time to go for a walk and enjoy your breathing and enjoy nature. Enjoy your body moving slowly. So we will finish up with a little bit of chanting and few words of loving kindness, few words of metta. So everyone, please feel invited to bring their hands together with me, and please understand that we are a community. We are here to support one another as a sangha, community of practitioners. So there's a lot of people have a lot of free time and a lot of good resources, and what better to do than reach out to them for help and support, or at least to know that they're there. Okay? So you can repeat after me these words of loving kindness. May this body be well, happy, and peaceful. May this mind be well, happy, and peaceful. May this sangha be well, happy, and peaceful. May all of my happiness be offered to myself. May all of my joy be offered to myself. May all of my freedom be offered to myself. May the day be well. May the night be well. May the midday hour bring happiness too. May we be safe and protected by the triple gem. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support our path. May we feel safe and inspired to continue. May we trust in the Buddha mind. May we trust in our mindful breathing. May we trust in the Buddha's teaching. May it be so. May it be so. May it really be so. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all of our afflictions be released, all of our boundaries taken down, and may we walk the path without fear, continuously, in each and every moment, to offer out, to give up, to let go, to be free even of freedom, in this breath and the next. Okay, my dear friends, thank you all for being here. Hang in there, don't overthink it, enjoy your breathing, and try to remember that your true mind is the Buddha mind, and it is quite free, flexible, open, and enjoyable. Okay? Thank you, friends.